welcome everybody to the second Ask Me Anything webinar of the ECMWF Summer Weather Code. My name is Esperanza Cuartero, and together with Julia Waitman, we coordinate ESoC. ESoC is a program jointly funded by the European Centre for Medium Range Weather Forecast and the European Union's Copernicus program. ESoC drives innovation and open source developments in the earth science community. Precisely the aim of this AMA session is to inform and let you know how ESoC works. There will be a time at the end of this webinar for you to ask questions. I encourage you to write your own questions on Slido. As you can see on the screen, please go to slido.com, introduce the hashtag ESoC 2022 and post your question in the box. We will be back to the list with the questions you wrote during the QI session at the end of the webinar. Now let me present very briefly the current edition ESoC 2022. How does ESoC work? We can distinguish 4 phases or steps along the timeline from the application period to the final ESoC day. The application period, we are currently in the application period, started on the 1st of March, when the 5th edition of the Summer Weather Code opened and launched. The deadline for submitting your application is the 15th of April. During this period, you can submit your proposal to solve one of the 11 challenges which are published on GitHub. This year, as I said, there are 11 challenges. These challenges can be grouped under 3 streams. Stream 1, software development for weather, climate, and atmosphere. Stream 2, web development for weather, climate, and atmosphere. And Stream 3, applied data science for weather, climate, and atmosphere. So if you are interested in one of the challenges, browse to the ESoC GitHub page, choose the right one, and submit your application by the 15th of April 2022. So imagine you are interested in a challenge and want to write the best proposal possible. So we are going to give you some tips. Write a clear and precise proposal. It has to be very well structured with milestones defined. And on top of that, the solution you propose must be technically feasible within 4 months. This is very important. An example of a structure. So you need to include a brief description of the problem, a solution, but in this solution, you need very, very specific about the software tools, the services, and the data you use. And don't forget to include milestones, deliverables, a timeline, and also a plan to share the project outcome. Up to 10 proposals will be selected. The official announcement of the selected proposals will be the 29th of April. Will be published the selected proposals on our website and also on Twitter. So don't forget to stay up, alerts, very alert on our social media, because we publish the winners on the 29th of April. After these announcements, the new ESoC 22 teams will start what is called the coding phase. The coding phase will last 4 months. This year will last from the 2nd of May to the 31st of August. The coding phase is the most exciting and fruitful phase of the program, of the ESoC program. Is when the participants team up with ECMWF and Copernicus mentors, and they form a team and they work closely on the projects. The coding phase is a learning experience means teamwork, it's software development, it's coding, it's innovation, it's open source, but on top of that, the coding phase is fun. So the last day of the ESoC program is the final ESoC day. It will be an event on the 28th of September when all the teams will have the chance to present and broadcasting their results and final developments. Why should you apply? There are many reasons why you should apply. You will join the ESoC community, a community which is growing and growing day by day. You will work on cutting-edge projects. You will learn side by side with real experts in the Earth system fields. And last but not least, you will receive an stipend of £5,000 if the deliverables have been accepted. So for more information about the ESoC program, please go to our website, and also on the ESoC GitHub space where you can browse the challenge, we can go engage with the mentors, and finally you can submit your proposal. And don't forget, the deadline for the application is the 15th of April. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Yes, and I'm very pleased. Today we have invited 2 teams who took part in last edition of ESoC 2021. We appreciate it very much. You are here with us because you can share the real test of what is participating in ESoC. So let me introduce the teams. Helen Sechel was the lead mentor of the projects, and the developer of their project was Varun Bakar. Hello, Helen, Varun. The team created ECMWF user dashboard. You will explain briefly your project, but let me introduce our other guest today. Is the team formed by Johannes Fleming as one of the mentors of the project, and also Mario Santa Cruz. Mario Santa Cruz, one of the developers of the AQ bias correction. So please, Helen, Varun, describe very briefly your development. And also if you can tell us about your motivation behind.
Yeah. Varun, do you want me to start, and then you can give a bit more of the detail?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So just on a very kind of general level, we're trying to gain a much better understanding of our users and what they need and what products and services they use in ECMWF. And my particular focus is on building bits of the website and making bits of the website work. So rather than focus internally on how we understand that, which we're doing in a separate project now, we decided to think, why don't we give that information to the user? Instead of thinking, do we want to understand our relationship? I thought, actually, I think the user might want to understand their relationship with the center. They might want to have a dashboard where they can actually see all of the things all the products and services that they interact with at ECMWF. And then I'll let Varun explain kind of what that looked like a bit and what was included.
Yeah, so our work was mainly based on web development and interfacing with various different ECMWF services. So the development was largely carried out in TypeScript with Node, Express, and Next.js as frameworks. The brief idea was to showcase data of particular ECMWF services that might be of interest to users in form of small widgets in one single place. And then the user can customize the dashboard according to their liking. So basically making their life easier. And so towards the end of the ESoC, we were able to deploy a working prototype with quite a good number of support of multiple widgets. So that was our work. And it was quite fun.
And I think quite a key thing as well is it was such a successful project and such a good base that we're actually carrying the project over into this year as well. And we've already had some interest of people looking at it and wanting to work on it again and take it further. So more products and services, more understanding of our relationship with the user, starting from their point of view, because we're putting them first.
Sounds very good. What about Johannes? Mario, tell us about your project. It was a completely different one. AQ bias correction. What is
Yes, I mean, I can maybe start sort of to explain what the challenge was, and then Mario can sort of answer and say what they did as a team to meet this challenge. So ECMWF is famous for its weather forecasting, but we also forecast air pollution, and we use models for this, and these models, of course, have limitations. One of the limitations of this model is that we divide the world in grid boxes of a size of about 40 kilometers. So that's maybe a city like London is, and Reading will be in one grid box. Yeah. So it's really for a very large area. But of course, air pollution is a local event. It depends where you are, if you are close to a street or so. So what we needed is basically a correction of the error of our forecasts based on observations. And that's basically, I think, sort of an ideal problem that you can approach with machine learning. So we formulated this challenge, and we looked out for people who could help us correcting the bias of our model using machine learning and observations. And then Mario and his teammate Antonio came up and had a proposal to make.
Thank you.
Yeah, in this case, we start implementing some basic machine learning models to get a baseline of what it was possible to achieve. From that, we start to implement state-of-the-art deep learning techniques from other fields like time series classification and other domains. And we move all that knowledge to this particular field, and we achieve like very good results with those compared to the baselines proposed at the beginning of the project. So we were very happy.
Thank you very much. I have a question. ESoC challenges are published on GitHub. And GitHub is this open source platforms which allows for a conversation between the mentor who proposed the challenge and also the applicant. Helen, how was your experience last year? I remember you started a discussion with Baron, a long discussion about to clarify different bullet points of the proposal. Do you think is a positive approach?
Yeah, so I mean, I know GitHub. I'm not a proper developer or anything like that, but I'm reasonably technical. So for me, something like GitHub is, you know, I'm fairly agnostic. I'll use whatever platform has the right features on it, and GitHub allowed that open conversation. So this is all a very open thing. You know, it's all about being open and having open code that other people can share and use. So GitHub, in that sense, is a really good platform for it. But I think of some of my colleagues maybe who are a little bit less technical. And if I'm honest, I think maybe GitHub might look a little bit technical for them. So they might benefit from, you know, an intro session to kind of, so that they don't look at it, get scared and think this is something technical that I can't use, because actually it's very easy to use. You know, it sends you notifications, you go in, you have a good open response. It means everybody else who's thinking of responding can see the answers. So it's completely transparent for everybody. Yeah, I think it works really well. And then obviously when the code comes later on, and that's above my head because, yeah, I don't quite understand pulling and pushing and branching and everything, but that's where
all the projects. You can follow the projects on GitHub along the
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and for you, Baron, do you think this conversation with Helen or the other mentors help you tailor your submission?
Yes, yes, very much. In fact, I feel it's important to ask your doubts early on in order to tailor a proposal for the given problem statement. So generally, after reading the initial problem statement, you'd naturally seek some clarification regarding the vision of the mentors for the project. Exactly. And it is crucial to understand that vision so you are able to write a great proposal. And in order to understand that, you can message the mentors on GitHub and start a conversation. and they'll help you resolve any queries you have. They are very friendly in that way. So the way I started was by introducing myself and asking more questions I had regarding the challenge to get more clarity. And in fact, all of that helped me give a clear idea on what to include in my proposals.
Very good.
So it was very helpful. Also, on an unrelated note, if anyone is interested in applying for user dashboard challenge, they can also message me because I had worked on it previously, and I'll be happy to help out.
Good to know. Good to know, Maren. Antonio, you wrote a winner proposal. You wrote a proposal who was selected. So could you give us a piece of advice to these persons, this audience needs to write the best proposal? Which kind of details deserve full attention? What would you say?
I think that you refer to me, right?
Was difficult? Yes, you. Was difficult to write a very good proposal? It takes time?
Yeah, it takes time, and you have to be like very careful what you write in that proposal, because that will set the basis of your work during the next 4 months. But what is important here is just to keep it simple, precise, with a good structure of the work and what are your ideas. The things that you put in the proposal, they have not to be done, but you can go about, you can write there like some ideas you have, something that you want to try. You don't have to have everything right, but you should like try new things and tell of all those things in the proposal.
Yeah, very, very good piece of advice. And you, Johannes, you were part of the committee of the evaluation committee. So what did you look for in a proposal to select the right one? You are on mute, Johannes. You are on mute.
Yeah, it's several issues, but it's not too complicated. I think the first thing what Mario said is very important. Keep it simple. So because also the people evaluating the proposal, they don't have a lot of time to read through many pages and complex stuff. But it's important to point out your work plan, and this should be very clear. And what I also suggest is to have a little bit element of innovation as well. So it's a sort of a balance between making sure that you yourself have a good idea what you want to do, but that you also point out where your strengths are and what you could bring as specific expertise to this project. For instance, for us, it was the knowledge about machine learning. So we don't know so much about it, and that's really where the external expertise came in. We know a lot about air quality forecasting, so this expertise was not needed to be in the proposal, but still having sort of some basic ideas to put in there is very helpful. But keep it simple, keep it structured, and make clear what you want to do concretely, rather than spending a lot of time on speculation and sort of unfounded claims.
Good, very good. Keep it simple, innovation, and be yourself. So that my last question to the four of you is about, I want to be honest with this question. Was ESOC really a learning experience for you? It was beneficial in some level, professional or personal level. What was your experience overall? Helen, the fourth of you, but Helen first, you first.
So I should tell other people here that, yeah, Esperanza knows that I personally find this a fantastic experience from a kind of a professional and personal level combined. What it means for me is we always have more work than we can do at ECMWF. You know, we sit on the bleeding edge of science, and we're constantly looking at innovation and new things. So this just widens how much innovation we can do and how many new things we can look at, and that's massively beneficial both for the centre and me professionally. And yeah, and just generally on a personal level, it means that you know, after you've worked in an organization for a certain amount of time, your world is very much that organization. And by talking to people outside like Varun, you get all these fresh perspectives, you get fresh ideas, just the language being used in conversation, it kind of gives you a bit of a reset and you can see ECMWF with fresh eyes. And yeah, it's great.
Very good. Varun, what for you? What was for you? Was beneficial?
Yeah, so personally, ESoC was a great learning experience for me. I got to work on a real world development project along with great mentors. Of course, I had full ownership of the work and was given full creative freedom to implement the solution the way I wanted. This in itself made me think of interesting ideas to solve various problems that I encountered during development phase. Also, I was working with the latest development stack, that is Node, Express, React, and I was part of the project from start to end, from ideation to development to deployment. So it's rare for an undergraduate student to get experience of all this at once. So it really taught me many skills, and the work along with all the interaction I had with different people is, I feel, definitely going to be useful as I enter my professional career.
Okay, yeah. Great. So you will convince people to get involved. And what about you, Johannes? It was what's
yes. I mean, for the professional experience, probably more for Mario and Antonio to answer what they can make out of it. But I mean, as Helen already pointed out, I think from my perspective, the main benefit is to have the chance to test little ideas, whether they are fruitful. So at ECMWF, we are an operational center and we have sort of plans, but there's not a lot of flexibility to try out little things, which can also fail because that's also important information. So for us, it was important to see what is the potential to apply these bias corrections to our forecast. And we got a very good example from this competition. And then we can see how we can implement. That's a different question, but it's of course a good starting point. So that's really helpful that on a small scale, we can explore certain avenues. And if it doesn't work out, that's also, as I said, an important outcome because it then tells us, okay, maybe it's not worthwhile spending so much effort in this one.
Yes, exactly. Testing or.
And I mean, personally, I also enjoyed sort of interacting with I mean, I do like my colleagues, but I also like to interact with people I haven't worked before. So that's also always
because it's teamwork as well. Yes, we're in 4 months. Yes, and you, Mario, with you?
Yeah, I identify like 2 ways in what is beneficial. Like one is in the educational space. You are going to clearly learn a lot of things related to the topic, in our case, like air quality and how the predictions with the CAMS model are made, and also like the specific knowledge about the technical implementations. And the other part is like the professional. It is useful for us, for the developers, because as it is open source, you can showcase your work to the rest of the world. It's like a personal portfolio for future opportunities you may have, where you can do your best to show all your skills learned during your degree or everything else.
Excellent.
And you also have like a lot of computational resources that most of us we can have like at our home, so that's also very good.
Excellent. So many positive inputs from ESoC. So
can I just very concretely, the outcome of Mario's and Antonio's proposal was that they are now giving a talk at a very big conference to the European Geophysical Union, and they were sort of accepted to present it there, which is an acknowledgement and a good starting point. And also in the world of Copernicus, there are always opportunities for sort of smaller companies to contribute. And I think already sort of in some sort of way connected with ECMWF and Copernicus or CAMS is very, very useful.
Okay, great. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for your inputs, your insights. So yeah, it's I also again say thank you for joining us, for your comments. Your words are very encouraged, and I think the audience agree with me on that. Thank you the four of you. So I think it's 3:30. I don't know if we have some list of questions on Slido, or
Can share the screen. We have more like a comment. Not sure if this is.
I can't see the screen.
You don't see it?
Yes, now.
Okay.
Yes. I want an attractive scientific research on how to plan it. I don't exactly understand what you mean with that.
They're asking for a proposal template, something to help them write the proposal. Is Osman still in there?
I don't know. I don't know, Julia, you could comment something.
Yeah, so maybe Osman, if you are still here, you maybe could also refine what you specifically mean with it. So in general, how, like, yeah, Esperanza also explained how it works. It's more like the scientific research, or like the ideas, they coming from within ECMWF. And so as Helen and also Johannes explained, that like there can be quite different from the nature of the project, but all are on cutting edge. So either more research oriented or really oriented on solving a practical challenge. And so basically you can go to GitHub and have a look on what challenges are posted for this year. And yeah, and then you also got all the descriptions on how to tailor your proposal, and as important is to be precise and short, but also detailed in how you want to solve the challenge.
And you can also write, contact us on our website and the email address which is provided, and we can answer all the questions, specific questions that you have on our website. So I think it's time to close this webinar. So again, thank you very much. Very big thanks to you for being with us. And all the persons, all the audience, please go to GitHub, browse your challenge, submit your application, and don't forget that the deadline is the 15th of April. So that's all for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Esperanza.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you again.